Hey, hi everybody. Hi Sydney. Hi Melanie.
Hello. Hello.
Here we are another week and more dogs. I see white fur everywhere.
Yeah.
Melanie has Linda there, but don't get your hopes up there. Linda's got adopted, huh?
I just got the news today.
All right. But that's what we're supposed to be doing here on the show.
Yeah.
Nice work. And who do you have next to you there, Sydney?
So this is Janice.
Wow.
I'm just a short-term fostering her while her regular foster is out of the country.
Okay. Oh, she heard Linda whine.
Oh, that's actually Gandalf whining.
Oh, that's Gandalf? Oh, that's right.
Gandalf.
You have that temporary dog there that's been there permanently. Hi, Becky. I see you up there. It's great to see you. If you have dogs on, let's talk about you getting on the show for, say, the 30th. So, wow, what a show we've got. We've got some good dogs down there.
Yeah.
But before we get going, I got to make mention, and I forgot to tell you guys about that before the show. The intro video reminded me. In Colorado, there's a rescue that one of our supporters called PyRescue And Sanctuary, or PyRescue.org. They're retiring. And they've been looking for somebody to take over the rescue at the 40 acres, etc., or take over the PyRescue 501c3. And they've had no takers. And they're still going to retire in the summer. So we really don't want that rescue we don't want to lose that rescue, because you're losing the only rescue in about 4 states for Great Pyrenees. That's not a good thing. And I got a dog coming in here. I hope he doesn't take the green screen down. He's kind of clumsy. But anyway, so if you guys ever dreamed about having a rescue, here's your opportunity.
And where again is it, Steve?
Peyton, Colorado, which is just near Colorado Springs.
Okay.
Right?
Wow.
And they're already licensed with PACPA. They got all the 501c3 in place, which can be transferred. And but this is going to happen. We're going to lose a rescue if somebody doesn't step up. So, but they're retiring and they deserve it. They've been doing this a long time.
Yeah.
And but we gotta try to keep that rescue going with new people is all. So it's facilities based. They built their facility around the dogs, so you're not trying to fit giant breeds into little kennels either. So
yeah.
Every one of their dogs, other than they got a medical foster, are in their backyard. So anyway, now let's get going with the first dog. I'm excited to introduce this first one. Here you come, Monique. We have Buzz. Buzz is an interesting mix, isn't he?
Yep, I actually just bought the test. So we're going to test him and see what he truly is.
Okay, what's the suspicion of his mix?
Melise thinks he is part Dane. I'm not so sure.
Okay.
He is very, very large. He's only 11 months old, but he is 119 pounds, 34 inches tall, and 36 inches long.
Whoa.
So he's a big boy. And here's the size. Can you see his paws?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, he's got some big clobbers.
And his name's Buzz, huh? Does he live up to his name?
Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear. All right. I love it.
He's a good boy.
Yeah. So what can you tell us about him? How is he?
He is super sweet. He loves to play. He's very good with his sister Foster, who now wants to come for attention. He enjoys being outside. He loves bones and toys. I forget how I forget how young he is. I forget how young he is because he's so large.
Right.
But
Okay. And we'll get her back.
Oh.
Oh, not from there, we won't. We lost her. So we lost somebody anyway.
Yeah. It keeps things exciting.
There she's back.
Sorry, he knocked
There's
the phone out of my
Monique.
hand.
So what? One of your dogs knocked you offline, huh?
Yeah, they did. He's very, very he's a big baby. Like I took him to the vet to get his nails clipped and he cried and cried, like cried throughout the whole office. I had to board him because I went out of town and they said he cried the entire time I was gone. When I got back, he jumped on me and almost like knocked me to the ground. He's
Wow.
just super like loving and sweet. He loves to sleep in my bed, which he's like the size of a human. So it's a little much. With two Pyrenees in the bed, it doesn't leave much room for you. He he has a like great sense of like adventure. Like he loves to just sniff out every section of the yard. He's not really a barker like a Pyrenees. He doesn't bark that much, but he's investigating everything.
Okay.
Can you say hi?
Hey, you know what we're going to do, Lynette? At the after we're done featuring the dogs, Roman's here. We're going to have him go into that type of anxiety a little bit and touch on it and see what's causing it and see if anything can be done about it. How about that?
He's not like anxious, so he's very like inquisitive. Like he's just like in puppy mode. So even though he's so large, I just really want people to understand that he really is still very much a little puppy in his brain, even though he's in a very large body. He wants to play, he wants to run, he wants to have fun, he wants to investigate everything because he's still learning. And so he's very big, but he's very young.
Yeah. How old would you say he was?
11 months old.
11, not even a year.
Not even a year yet. So
Wow.
I got him when he was 4 months old. They were going to actually put him to sleep that day. They kept the shelter open for me to go pick him up. And he's really been a dream. I mean, the first couple of weeks were a little rough with him, but as he became comfortable, he really learned from my other foster. He's really good with my other dogs. He's a sweetheart.
Wow.
Yes.
How
He's
long
very ticklish.
His helmet head is now gone, right?
Yes, he's gone. Can you say hi?
He looked good with that helmet head.
I know.
He has really beautiful, very elegant proportions.
Yeah, I take him out in public, like when I take him to the vet or I take him, just like out and about, and people just stop and they just can't believe how large he is. Like they're just mesmerized, right, buddy? Are people mesmerized by you? So they're just mesmerized with how big he is. And if anything, like if a leaf blows by, he runs. Like he's afraid of them. And people are intimidated by his size, but he's really afraid of them.
It sounds like he's intimidated by his own size too.
he does not realize how big he is. I have to be careful. That's why he really should go to a house with like larger children, because with even my smaller dogs, he doesn't realize how big he is. And he's a clumsy puppy. So, he wants to play. So I don't want to say he's rough because he's not, but he's just playful. But at 119 pounds, playful.
Is he standing on you right now? Oh, now he's laying on you.
He's got his butt on my shoulder. Yes.
He seems to be all about you. He seems to be all about you.
He does. He is such a cuddle bug. He's so sweet.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have Roman touch on that type of anxiety that he has displayed after we feature the dogs. And so if you can stick around, that might be worth your while.
Okay.
Because that's not healthy in most cases. Okay. So wow. So what would his perfect home look like, do you think?
I think his perfect home would be a big yard. He loves to be outside, just absolutely loves being outside. A big yard, active people because he's very active, because he's still in puppy mode. A sister dog would be great because he loves my other peer. He would be best in a house. He'd be best in a house where somebody would be home often because he is still a puppy. and just like really like loving people who would really want to help him just continue to grow and become the best Buzz possible.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. That's where Buzz is. Wow. What a boy.
Say hi.
He's definitely good looking. Now you're going to be doing a DNA test on him pretty soon, aren't you?
Yes, I have it. The issue is they can't eat for a few hours before, and he seems to always be chomping on something. So I'm on vacation starting today, so I'm going to get that test done this week on him.
Okay, so he can't eat before you do the swab?
Yeah, they say 2 hours before.
Okay, all right. Hey, yeah, if you're on vacation, that should be easier to manage.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because like I go to work in the morning, and then when I get home, he's hungry. So, and then, I'm tired, so I go to bed, so I'm going to get it done this week because I'm really dying to know like what he truly is. Yeah. So, I mean, he's got the double coat like a Great Pyr. He's got the dew claws like a Great Pyr. But even like his sister dog is 85 pounds. And if he stands up next to her, you cannot see her at all.
He just towers over her.
Yeah. And so my vet has like, we're all taking bets on what he is. So my vet doesn't think he's a Dane. Yeah, my vet doesn't think he's a Dane. He said that he has seen Great Pyrs be that large. He thinks he's going to top out at 165.
And that's how much. My Pyrs have been an average of that. Well, not average. I had one. Murray was 160. Charlie was 154. So, I mean, they're big dogs. They're a giant breed.
Yeah. He said the males are.
Personally, I don't see anything else in there other than he's still puppy, I mean, his face could change, but his snout is a little weird. That's all.
Yeah. And I don't know, like my female doesn't drool, but he's definitely a drooler.
Okay. Well, your female may drool if you eat in front of her then.
Yeah, she gets quite jealous if somebody else is eating food. But no, he definitely has a little bit of a drool. And its snout is different than hers, but the double coat, the dew claws,
he looks Pyrenees.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks the part.
He has a Pyr personality. Like he is, even though he's a puppy, he is low key. He's really low maintenance. He's very sweet. So he's a good boy.
There you go. All right. Okay. Well, Monique, thank you for keeping him on. Are you going to be able to stick with us for a little while until the end where we can listen to Roman? Okay. Well, I'm going to take you over to the side here and we're going to bring up, our next one in line. Now this boy's got two names, all right? In the rescue, he goes by Icing, right? Am I saying that? Okay. But his foster mom lovingly calls him Gannon. And there's a reason for that. And we'll get into that here in a few minutes. But we're actually going to play a video for him, and we're going to bring her up. Hi, Lynette. Let me find
Hi
you down here.
there.
There you are. Wow, what a
Here we
good-looking
are.
boy.
He is a good-looking boy. Show your face, silly. Look over here. Yeah. He's a very handsome young
He
man.
sure is.
Yeah.
And nobody knows what his mix is because nobody really cared, huh?
No, no. I've thought about doing a DNA test on him, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. We do know that
Yeah.
his mom was Great Pyrenees because we had her. But
Could
we
be
don't
could be
know.
some border collie in there, maybe. It's hard to say.
I actually had a dog who looked exactly like him, who passed away a few years ago, and her mother was Rottweiler.
Oh, okay, that could be. Yeah.
So it's possible he's got some of that.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to let Sydney take care of you and Gannon icing. What gets confusing is that in order to adopt him, his name is Icing, right?
Correct.
But
Correct.
you call him Gannon because that's the name he came in with when he came back.
That's the name when he was adopted, but he came back. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Sydney. It's all yours.
Great. So, Lynette, I think that you said earlier that you've had him since December.
Yes, I've had him
Is that
since
right?
early December.
Okay.
Yeah. He was returned to.
So you've had
Great
him
Britain.
for a couple months and gotten to know him.
Yes. Yeah, he's a lovely, lovely boy. He's laid back. He's calm, as you can see, and he's pretty responsive to commands. The one big flaw that he has is that he doesn't like living with other dogs, and so he just needs to be in a single dog home, which shouldn't be a problem. He's okay, like on walks. If we walk past another dog,
Okay.
I just bring his focus to a treat, and he's just fine. It's just in the house. He does not want to share his space.
Okay. Would he be okay living with like teenagers or
I believe he'd be okay living with teenagers. Absolutely. He is very food obsessed. And because of that, he's a little bit overweight. He's a little bit fluffy, as we say. And so he will jump he mostly just to jump up at you, but he does jump. And sometimes he connects, and so small children would not be a good match for him. But bigger children would be fine.
Okay.
And I think that we're working on that behavior, and he's definitely gotten better. He just needs some more training on that.
Okay. And remind us, he's about 4 years old. Is that it?
Yeah, he's about 4 years old. I think he may still be a little bit closer to 3, but anyway, somewhere in between 3 and 4.
Okay.
And he did come into Great Pyrenees Rescue Society as a puppy with his siblings, with a litter. And so we do know his history, and he just, unfortunately, the family that he was with had a baby, and then when the baby started toddling, that turned out to be a problem for him. So, because he was just a little too boisterous for the baby.
Okay. Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so, so did he live with another dog in that home as well, or?
He did live with another dog in that home. So it was surprising to me that he did not do well with the dogs in my home. And we've tried a couple of different things to get him past that, and it just hasn't worked. And
Okay.
I live by myself. I'm the only breadwinner in the house, and so I can't afford injuries. So
Yeah.
So now
Wait a minute, but you still have dogs in your home now, though, right?
Oh yeah, I have.
So, and everybody's still alive, right?
Yeah, but I keep him separate.
Okay, all right, but
I
we
not only
do.
have dogs in my home, I have fences in my home.
But we also know that he can get along with another dog because he did.
Yeah, he did get along with another dog, as far as we know. Yeah.
Could it be he's just destabilized because he lost his home of 3 years or more?
Yeah, that could be.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
but
just,
you live alone and you don't have many options to work with that.
right. I don't have a lot of options to work with that, and I have had friends come over and help me walk with him with my dogs, and he's okay with them outside. He does okay then, but as soon as he comes in the house, he's not.
All right. What we're going to do with Roman one of these days, we're going to do an entire segment, like a 30-minute segment on dog stuff and how to head that off at the pass in some cases. All right.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to do that one on the 30th because we have some time on that show. But anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we have plenty of great applications that come in that are looking for an only dog. And a lot of times, people really want a mix. So he definitely is so darn cute that I'm sure.
He's a really great size. He should be about 70 pounds. My guess is that he's about 15 pounds overweight right now.
Wow.
And so he really needs some exercise. We're working on that. He's lost a couple pounds while he's been here.
His video clips that you sent caught my attention. He moves like greased lightning, doesn't he?
He does. Yeah, he's quick. And so, yeah, he's
ready.
Sorry about that. That muted our mics because we didn't take sound out of it.
Okay.
Now, is that at your place, that video clip?
Yeah, that's at my place.
So he does bring the item back to you?
He does bring it back. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. And right now he'll chase the ball maybe 5 or 6 times, and then he stops. And then he just doesn't go get it.
Maybe he's tired.
He loses weight, right?
Right. So that's what I was wondering. Will that increase as he loses weight?
I absolutely believe so, because he loves playing ball.
That's
he gets
so
so
awesome.
excited when I get to chuck it out.
What a boy.
Yeah, he's just real, and this is him. He's perfectly happy. I can sit and watch TV for a couple of hours in the evening, and he'll just lay here with me, and he's perfectly happy to do this as well. So
that's sweet.
I play musical rooms, so because I have another dog, foster dog that get along with all dogs, and so I play musical rooms in my house. So during the day when he gets to be out with me when I'm working, he just lays by my side on the floor and hangs out with me while I work.
Wow, he's beautiful dog.
Yeah.
Wow.
So does he let you brush him? Does he let you trim his nails?
He lets me brush him. He lets me clip his nails. I have not tried to brush his teeth yet, so that'll be something that we'll have to give a try to. I'm not sure how he'll feel about that. I haven't had him get upset about anything. I've had to, pull some burrs out of his fur and because I live on 2.5 acres and it's part meadow and part forest. Okay. And so when he gets to be out, it's separated into a couple of different yards, but when he gets to be out on the property proper, then he gets to run through the woods and chase little things and so and bark at the neighbors and
it sounds like heaven.
It is. When I bought this property, I told my dogs I was buying them a park, so I expected them not to complain that I didn't take them for walks as often. So
wow. All right. Yeah. Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. That's where Mr. Icing Gannon is.
Yeah.
Does he know his name, Gannon? I'm going to assume he does, having it all those years.
He does know his name, Gannon, which is why I didn't start calling him Icing when we got him back, because he knew Gannon and that was what he was accustomed to.
Yep.
And so he's but in order to apply for them, you do need to say icing because
that's because all of the rescues vet records and records are in icing. All right.
Right.
So, wow.
Yeah.
What a boy.
There's a lot of paperwork that would be a real headache to change if we change the name on this paperwork to Gannon. So we just leave it icing for the records, and then Gannon. But Gannon's what he answers to.
Okay, Cindy, do you have any closing questions for her before we move on?
No, thank you so much for bringing him on. I was excited because he's just he's a unique looking one for this group. So
yeah, he really is, and he just is. He's such a sweet, loving boy, and with the exception of maybe not wanting to share his home with other dogs, he's just a perfect companion dog. He's just a lovely, lovely boy. So
the cool part is you can walk him past another dog you meet on the walk.
Yeah, as long as I distract him with food.
Well, that's what you do, is you distract him back to you.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So,
Ain't that something?
Yeah.
Ain't that something? What a boy. And then Mr. Buzz down there. What a boy there.
He's a good boy.
Yes, he is. So now Sydney has a foster and she wanted to just kind of give everybody a sneak peek at who she is, and we'll get her out here featuring. And you still want a little bit of input with Roman on this?
Yeah, I definitely. Roman, I don't know if you have time to come on next Sunday when we're really going to feature her more.
Right.
Because I think there's definitely plenty for you to kind of chime in on. So Janice, she doesn't really know that's her name, but she is also an owner. She was returned to us.
A recent return, right?
Yeah. And she also is a chunky monkey. So she's
what's this overfeeding?
Artemis, sorry, I just had a dog breakout. So
okay, well, we're going to let you go, and we're going to go into Buzz. I mean, not Buzz. We just did Buzz. Well, actually, I want Roman, before we do Cosmo. We have a pre-recorded session of Cosmo. Okay, so before we do Cosmo, I want Roman to touch on what Monique was experiencing with Buzz and the whining every time she leaves, and when she went on vacation and took him into boarding, he whined the whole time. What do you think about that, Roman?
Well, separation anxiety, related behaviors, let's put that together. Separation anxiety is not one thing. It's a series of things, has different type of expression. It's kind of like we are in love and we express it in different ways. Separation anxiety is basically an anxiety for dogs and people to be separated from somebody they care about. So guardian dogs, to start with, have an intense type of separation anxiety already pre-programmed. Being away from the flock causes them anxiety. Taking them away of their dedicated work causes them anxiety. Us not being able to be in time meeting our friends causes us anxiety. So we have a healthy anxiety and we have an unhealthy anxiety. So when we talk about separation anxiety, it can come across multiple ways. One way, it can come across that the dog starts being responsive and offers behaviors that are related to him being negative, like anxious about you leaving the house because of multiple reasons. For example, one reason would be, which is the typical separation anxiety, just like our children sees us leaving the house. They're like, oh, I want to come with you, right? And then they're happy when we're coming back, but that's normal. So this is a normal type of separation anxiety. The dog gets anxious when you leave. He gets happy when you return. In between, there are not so much things happening other than the kind of being patient until you return. Then we have separation anxiety because of trauma. For example, your loved one left and never returned. And now your next loved one leaves and you something happens internally and he says, oh my God, what if you're not coming back? And all this fear comes up. And that's trauma response on separation anxiety. Then we have anxiety because of genetics. Let's call it a pre-existing condition. Your dog comes in predisposition to have anxiety if you leave. That can come down even 7 generations down the timeline. So the reason why I'm mentioning those different types of anxiety, so you recognize that can be different perceptions, right? Then we have separation anxiety because of conditions that the dog observes, that once you leave and you offer certain behaviors, you're not coming back so soon. And then, for example, if so soon doesn't happen and the dog needs to go to the bathroom, then he gets frustrated because without you, he cannot do these things. Therefore, he gets used to that if you grab your packages and you leave, you're going to leave longer, which makes the dog anxious that he may not have access to his needs. Then we have separation anxiety because of frustration. Frustrated because he cannot come with you because you set up the whole thing that a dog has to be with you, and therefore that usually happens with service dogs. You leave them behind, they feel the need, they need to be with you because they have the job to do, and that causes frustration. Then we have separation anxiety because of depression. Can happen. A little bit more complex than that. To keep it simple, your dog's partner passes away. He's alone. He doesn't know what to do. He's frustrated. He's depressed. And now you leave too. It adds on top of it, and the dog kind of gets upset. Then we have diet-related separation anxiety, which means because of nutritional intake or lack of intake, the dog may have anxiety when you leave because the dog will be continue being hungry or is upset or frustrated. So we can put that diet-related separation anxiety into underlying medical conditions as well. So that are the different types of separation anxiety and how we can find out to them. First of all, there is an anxiety scale that kind of defines when does it set in and how would it look like and how extreme it can get. Separation anxiety is not on or off. It's kind of in the spectrum. So, for example, your dog gets nervous and starts running around when he perceives that you are going to behave like departing, right? Then you can drooling, hiding. You can have the dog being destructive. You can have the dog cowering, being restless, or even showing aggressive behaviors like biting your hands or doesn't let you leave, right? Freezing on the spot. Not knowing what's going to happen. Will I die? Will I come back? Or what, right? Then we have barking and whining and howling, which is the case here with our friend. We have panting. We have vomiting, defecating, urinating, diarrhea. Then we have owner-seeking behaviors. The dog visually trying to follow the owners all the time. And then we have also bolting, right? The dog tries to get out, tries to get away because he knows once you're gone, he can't get out of there, right? Then shaking, trembling, and then even self-harm. So we have those, I guess, 14, 15 type of behaviors that lead us to conclude, more or less, that we're dealing with separation anxiety, more or less. Now, how severe those individual behaviors are shows us how deep and how problematic the whole thing is. Does it resonate so far?
Yeah. Now, she got him when he was young, okay?
Right.
And he was a surrender to the shelter.
Right. So we have
He
at
was on the
least...
street.
Oh, he was a stray. Okay,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
He was a stray.
Let's take that for example. Let's zoom out from that and look at different things. First, how did the dog end up on the streets?
Right.
Number one, the dog could be staying with someone because people left, and the dog had separation anxiety and left at home, got lost, and never returned, trying to find his adopters or his people.
He was found in Texas, by the way.
Got lost because he wanted to go to his friends and family. Like the first adoption may failed.
Mhm.
And then for the dog being a long time out in the free, all of a sudden he's being adopted, comes in a house. And because of that, you leaving the house, he's going to be trapped in the house. That can cause also anxiety. So we're looking definitely at least on separation anxiety caused to trauma. And then we can add different other pieces of that. To find out exactly what's happening, I have a questionnaire, and I'm happy to share that. So let me know in the comments. And then I can share with you that separation anxiety test and check out and see which ones of those are happening. Now, people will tell me, of your list that you mentioned, he's not doing all of that. That's fine.
Mhm.
If he has more than 3 or 1 and very intense, you're already dealing with it.
Right.
Some-
See, we work with the reason of the anxiety.
Right. Sometimes we don't even know that it happens because he's just fine. He's just pacing around and then he's going to his bed. Great. Yes, but what's happening in between? He doesn't drink water. He doesn't eat. He's not moving from his bed. Well, that's already separation anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to look at that from a different perspective. Sometimes people don't even have a clue the dog has separation anxiety that barks because they don't know. So that's why we set up a camera and record what's happening. Some people don't recognize that the dog is basically pacing more often because they're taking a shower, because they're getting dressed, and don't paying attention to that. So homework for all of you guys, pay attention to what's going to happen if you put your shoes on. What's going to happen if you grab a bag? What's going to happen if you grab your keys and your phone, you put your pocket and put the zipper up, and then go to the door and your dog doesn't have the leash on?
And what difference does that make?
Right.
Because he's triggered before you actually leave the house.
Right. Now, I know people who say, well, my dog that will stay with me as a foster never had separation anxiety. Yes, true. And then you ask the adopter and tells you, well, the rescue didn't tell me he has separation anxiety. Yes, true. Here's why. The dog didn't have separation anxiety in the previous home because there were consistently, there was a routine, things are being set already in place. Now, after the relocation stress, moving to another house, being in a new place, feeling unsafe, which one of the side effects is separation anxiety, suddenly it pops up at the adopter, which means no matter if your dog has or doesn't have separation anxiety, the adopter needs to learn that how to deal with it proactively rather than reactively about that. Because it can happen in between the transport. That stress for losing the family, losing your reference point, losing your safe place, it's no different than moving your elderly people away from the home, put them in a facility, sort of. They even can have rage. So the dog moves to a new home can get separation anxiety just because of their location.
Yes.
Okay? So what I believe happens to that dog without having a lot of knowledge, it seems to me that a dog doesn't want to lose you because he have lost somebody in the past. Which means we have to work on that. No matter what, if the dog is being adopted, it can become more intense.
And there's things that he can do over that. I mean, there's things you can do. So,
Okay.
So things that we can do. First of all, things that you cannot do.
Right.
Putting the dog in a crate and hoping it's going to go away. It doesn't. Putting the dog on meds. It doesn't. Feeding the dog before you leave. Once we know not knowing exactly what's going on in your dog's mindset, you cannot start a treatment because eventually you can reinforce or you can actually ignore things and make things worse.
Right.
So one thing that I hear very often for dogs who are getting destructive, buy a stronger crate. This is the best way to make things more problematic because not only the dog gets injured, not only the dog causes trauma, something happens called, anyone? Helplessness, which means it's a classical state because the dog is trapped, he cannot get out, he's trying, he gives up. But that is a very dangerous state of mind.
Yes, it is.
Right? Helplessness are people who are in prison, people who lost their family. All of a sudden, they're alone, nothing to do. Whatever they try doesn't work, which actually causes enormous emotional stress. Will the crate fix it? No. No matter who tells you that that's going to address it, it's like saying, if my baby whines, being alone, put them in a kennel and close the door is the best solution to do that.
Yeah, that's the worst thing you can do.
Right? It doesn't. It's scientifically proven besides that, but we have to put some common sense there.
Right.
Now, why medication doesn't work? Because people would throw out, put them some CBD. First things first, we don't have medical assessment done if not a certified professional does the assessment whether or not your dog has separation anxiety and whether or not your dog needs medication. Sometimes, giving an example from recent experience, a dog didn't have separation anxiety but didn't want people to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Which means if the dog didn't see these people leaving, he didn't have a problem being alone. And you want to medicate that dog? You see where I'm coming with this, right? So just because you think the dog has separation anxiety, treating a dog for separation anxiety doesn't make it okay, especially in foster care.
See, separation anxiety has to be properly diagnosed because
Yes.
there's another behavior that has similar symptoms of separation anxiety with the
Right.
Great Pyrenees, and that's called boredom.
Right. So separation anxiety is not the behavior.
Right.
Right. Separation anxiety is a disorder.
Mhm.
And you can notice the disorder because of those behaviors. But because of the behaviors, you don't make an assumption in separation anxiety
The
disorder.
behavior is a symptom of the disorder.
Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. So my recommendation is no matter what, if you're suspecting your dog has eventually something like separation anxiety, or you feel your dog does behaviors that don't make any sense, or you're inclined to say, yeah, it's because of boredom, or because he's so destructive, or because he's stubborn, or whatever you think it is, do the assessment. It's black and white. At least you know and capture information. We call it caption data. And once we have this data in place, then we can make the checkup and see, based on history, based on suddenly changing behaviors, based on all these little details that we know, is it or is it not likely? And I'm not saying it is or it's not. It's more or less likely for the dog to struggling with it. Because I'm not a psychic, I don't know if he has or not. So we're
Right.
going to test it. We're going to go through this process of making sure we capture everything. And once we have that, then we can call it. And if we need, then we can get a veterinary assessment to rule out medical conditions. Check, check, check. Rule out the dog's having trauma because of his history. So call, pick up phones and gather information. And then once we have all this together, then we'll do a plan. And that plan is not something you can turn on and off. If we're lucky, we are, but usually not. Right? Likely what we have to do is plan ahead, long term, how to slowly change that progress. It's not something that's going to happen from one day to another. So yeah, sometimes we have to do some efforts. Sometimes we have to help the dog with a pet sitter, with having the dog being in another place with somebody there in the transition time. So you have a transition time, a management time before you even starts the healing process, because that behavior needs to be healed, not shut down and not medicated.
Right.
These are just help system. You can just add medication to support the dog. Medication itself or training itself doesn't address it.
Anna's got a question. She wants to know if there's a list of the different types of separation anxieties that you have listed that you can give her, that you can give us.
Yeah, well, you have separation anxiety now, not getting the list?
Yeah, well, we didn't go into the human separation anxiety yet.
I have separation anxiety if I leave my dogs behind in the house.
Yeah, I do too if I leave my dogs.
What's going to happen? If I have a flat tire, what time will I be home? Like, I have a 4-hour window.
Yeah. I slobber and drool everywhere when I'm away from my dog.
So
Did that help out a little bit, Monique?
Yeah, definitely.
So I recommend, no matter what, because you don't want the dog to get into that system, we want to make sure that proactively we're teaching the dog not to worry about things, which means, step number one, if your dog starts following you around, get yourself encouraged and ask him to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
I know your dog eventually thinks you're going to be disappearing in the bathroom and the toilet will eat you, whoever comes to mind, but let him know that it's just fine. Ask him to stay in their bed. The dog approaching you and checking in with you all the time can be a little bit controlling, which is totally okay for a working dog with his sheep. He wants everything to be gathered together. Don't encourage it by petting and rewarding and reinforcing that kind of behavior, because if you don't and you're gone, the dog will not get what he needs, and all of a sudden it's your fault.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I would like you to do is make sure that you have a regular schedule, because regular schedule makes the dog feel safe. And if you change and you have to change your schedule, be aware that there's going to be a reaction behind that, right? Make sure the dog is to the bathroom, eats normally, drinks normally water, and any signs of discomfort could be underlying medical condition. Stress can trigger the dog going into panic mode, and it can look like separation anxiety, but it's not. panting, pacing, drooling. Looks like, but it's not. It could be a heart problem.
Yeah.
Right? So that said, better safe than sorry. Better reach out and check in with me, for example, or any other professional who specializes in separation anxiety to rule things out. That's it.
Awesome.
Pretty much.
Cool.
Can I
Wow.
just make
Thanks, Roman.
Go ahead.
discourage anyone from diagnosing their dog themselves with separation anxiety, especially in a rescue situation with a foster dog, because it's very difficult to adopt a dog that's got separation anxiety. So you want to be sure your dog truly has separation anxiety before you make that label.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We go
because
through a
it does
lot.
go
I
with-
mean, it's a big deal when we try to diagnose the separation anxieties, because that's the first thing we have to do is make sure that's what it is.
Right.
So
So-
all foster coordinators out there, I highly encourage you, if you want to learn more about that, I have a course out there in the making right now. It's going to be soon done about separation anxiety. You guys are up to speed on everything, and you can start working on yourself with those little assessment and see the severity of the situation. And if that claim of your adopter or that claim of your foster is justified, or checking in once in a while, just being proactive and reactive.
Yeah, 'cause, separation anxiety is highly misdiagnosed too.
Yes.
Yes. So, all right. Well, I think, boy, I'm just batting 100 today, ain't I? We got to move forward with Mr. Cosmo, the puppy. Sydney did great. She did a pre-recorded, and some of you will remember Julie, okay, and that's who has Cosmo. And yeah, we're going to play it.
Yes.
And we still have a minute after it's done if anybody has questions. So, wow, we're getting some good response out of separation anxiety. Is there a difference between a panic attack and separation anxiety? Absolutely.
Yes.
Another A plus. Yes. And once again, that can be confused as separation anxiety. Okay. So, all right, let's move on with Cosmo. I just want to see this cute little guy. He's young.
Yeah, he's just a puppy.
Yep. So here we go.
You're adopted.
All right. So, Julie, it's so good to have you back on the show.
I know.
Hello.
Great to see you, Sydney.
So, who's that little wigglewort you have there?
We have Cosmo here. Oops, let me grab him. Cosmo, come. Puppy, come. Come on. Come on. Here he is. Oops, there we go. Here's Cosmo. Sorry. Come here, puppy.
He's so cute.
He just got done with our raucous play session with the others, so he's still in wrestle mode. Come here, buddy. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'll tempt him with treats.
Yes.
So anyway, this is Cosmo, who just came up from Texas with Great Pyrenees Rescue last week. A week from today, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's the last of the sea litter. I wish I had more info. Sorry, I haven't had a chance to look it up. But
No.
he's 17 weeks, I believe. 18.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's as sweet as can be. He's I don't know how large he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be as big as his siblings.
Okay.
He's probably about 30 pounds right now.
Okay.
But he's the sweetest little love bug. He obviously plays well with others. He's housebroken. We'll use the pee pad when I'm away, but he also is crate trained as well. He has no food issues regarding other dogs, except he loves to eat. He loves to play. He likes to run and wrestle, and he kind of is a follower with the other dogs.
Okay.
He's not the leader by any means. He barks. He's only barked a couple times, and that was when, of course, the Amazon man came and everybody else was barking, so he knew he had to.
Of course.
But otherwise, he's not a big barker. I found him to be yet. Does stairs.
Oh, wonderful.
Walks pretty well on a leash. We're learning that. He's just as happy as can be, loves people as much as he does other dogs, and is a big love bug, likes to cuddle. I think he'd be a great second dog for sure. He doesn't show like any high predator type things, so I think he would be good with cats. He's learned he's respectful. He knows sit and he knows leave it. We're there.
Oh, wow.
But he'll wait while the other dogs are eating and doesn't try to muscle in on anything. So I think that he'd probably be pretty good in a home with cats because, like I said, he doesn't have a high predator, any high predator traits. He's kind of a smooth-coated puppy. He doesn't have that big fluff like I think his brothers and sisters did. He's all white. He's beautiful. Does not have the characteristic double dews on the back of his feet, but I think his characteristics show that he's very much a Pyr.
Yeah.
And I think he'd be a great second dog for somebody for sure.
Yeah, I was noticing that his fur seems shorter than typical.
Right. Well, yeah, as we know that, Pyrs come in all shapes and sizes, and they have the smooth coat or the others that have the coat that goes on forever. Not that he won't shed like they all do, but I think that as far as a little bit less fur, he'd be okay. He's definitely adjusted well to the Pacific Northwest. He is not afraid of water, so he'd probably be good. But he's looking for a dog that wants to go to the beach. He lets me brush him, and I have no trouble touching his paws. He's been a real joy to have. We've really definitely welcomed into our pack.
Yeah. Remind us how many dogs you have in your house and who he seems to like to play with the most right now.
Sure. So I have 7 dogs currently. I know. But as I tell people, I have been fostering for 17 years now and over 180 dogs. I'm on this. He's number 76 for me for Great Pyrenees Rescue.
Wow.
I know, quite a few, but, and we've loved them all. But we have 3 Pyrenees of our own, which he gets along with great, females as well as males. He does well with both. I have some village mutts, which he gets along with well. I have a Borzoi he gets along with well, and I have a lab that he gets along with well. And she's the matriarch, and he really kind of listens to her as well. They've been a great pack, and they're great puppy mentors. So he's learned a lot, and they're very gentle with them. Definitely, they all love to play with them.
Yeah, your dogs are very seasoned mentors.
Yes. After so many years, yes, they get used to it for sure.
Yeah.
We have what we call the bath of no return, that right before we send them out, we give the dog a bath, and it's like that. At that point, my dogs know it's like, here they go. This one's been adopted too.
Wow.
But, they're all happy for them, and we've absolutely enjoyed fostering for Great Pyrenees Rescue. Great organization. Melissa is without a doubt the best director I think I've ever fostered with. I know we love Melissa. And she, everybody in the rescue has been wonderful, super supportive. And so if you're interested in fostering, you couldn't find a better group to foster for. And Pyrenees are just like the best dogs ever, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. You won't get an argument from me about that.
I know, but they're very supportive. So if you're interested in with any questions or any comments, and as you know, with Steve, who's also wonderful as well, very helpful. Our whole community, whether it be you're on the Facebook page or you're just reaching out to somebody in admin, with a question about training or health or any issues like that, everybody's more than willing to assist. So it's always been a joy for us, and especially any of the dogs we've got, we love them all. Obviously, I foster failed 3. So,
Well, the ratio of 3 to almost 80, I think you're doing pretty good.
yeah, out of all, that's for sure. And, the other thing too is that I think so wonderful is he came to us very healthy, as all our dogs do, or if there's a question. And he's been, he's done well. He's had no trouble eating. His stools have been good. We check them out. And if we have any problems, there's somebody there to help. But like I said, he came off the van in great shape, and he's done really well. Just the week we've had him, you would think we've had him much longer. He's just,
wow.
He's just fit in that well. He just kind of said, okay, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, thank you so much for bringing him on and giving us a chance to feature him. And gosh, I hope he finds his forever home quickly. But if he doesn't, he's in good hands.
Wow. Nice job, Sydney.
Thank you.
Doing those pre-records is hard.
Yeah.
And especially to get them come out right like this. So, wow. So that's Cosmo, Great Pyrenees Rescue Society.org. And like Julie said, if you're interested in fostering, that's very good organization. She's been doing it a long time too. Big network there. So,
yeah, I think and Julie used the word community, and I loved that because I think that does really captures what the rescue is.
Yeah. A lot of people will say family. It's hard to do family with some of the folks who've never met each other. So community, I like that.
Yeah.
And there's usually no infighting and stuff like that. So everybody's focused on one thing: saving dogs.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's pretty cool. Wow. Next week, you're going to be back, Sydney, only not as host. You're going to be back as a guest, huh?
Yes, I have the privilege of being a guest, and Lisa's going to be co-host next week. And we have some more cool dogs coming on.
We were trying to get Jay on. JJ, I think is his name.
Yeah. JJ has had, he's a tripod, and he's had, and that happened, he's a medical foster. So, we just want to get him healthy enough so that we can feature him in the way that he truly is, like the fact that he gets to play and his personality. And so right now he's just, getting over some medical humps before he can really be himself. But his foster says he's just such a great dog, and he's super adoptable, and she's looking forward to when he's feeling good enough, and they're going to get him on the show as soon as it's good for him.
And Lynette's down there with icing, and that's how you search him to apply. And we've got Buzz with Monique there. We got some great dogs, and that's happening in rescue. They're getting in dogs that that have come from bad situations, but it's not possibly not neglect or abuse. It could be they lost their job. Okay.
Yeah.
So, because we get, you guys have a lot of dogs that you say, who didn't want this dog?
Yeah.
So it may not have been like that. They may want their dog, but just couldn't.
Yeah.
Times are tough for a lot of people right now. So, but we did good. We did a good show, I think. And boy, next week's going to be great. Then the week after that, we're going to be at GPRS headquarters.
Yes, we're excited for that as well.
Yes,
Molly's going to co-host and showcase a bunch of headquarter dogs for us.
That's right. That's right. And I don't know. Are you going to be down there at headquarters, Melanie?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because they need help down there. There's a lot of dogs down there. and if you want to hear anybody, you got to bring them up to the front area. So, because if there's humans back there, they get all excited. All right, we're going for a walk. We're going for a walk, and you wouldn't be able to hear anything. So there's a whole headquarters down there, and Molly is really stepped up to the plate to get those dogs exposure also, and we love it. Thank you.
Yeah, that definitely was a precious pet project of Molly's, that to feature more headquarter dogs. So she really, this is something that when we do a headquarter show, it takes a lot of volunteers.
It's a lot of work.
And so the people you see on the camera are just they're just a fraction of actually the amount of people that make a headquarters show work. Because there's a lot of, it's like a stage show. So we're very grateful for all the people that contribute to a headquarters show.
And you get a little bit of an insight during, like, when we go trick-or-treating for the Halloween show with them, you get to see some of the behind the scenes people there. So, but there's a lot of people behind the scenes for the show, for the rescues, and it's just amazing the unity that we have there for saving these dogs. So, and then plus two, when Molly, well, she gets to have fun while she's there. Look at all the dogs she's going to be around. And
Melanie, you can pick up the foster too.
Yeah, it was great to see Julie again, wasn't it? So, but all right, well, we're on overtime now. Roman will be back next week, and he's going to cover some stuff with Sydney and Janice.
Yeah.
But I think he did good with separation anxiety, because that's very complicated. So, and yes, a Great Pyrenees can get separation anxiety. And he touched on that point very, very well, because part of what makes them such good guardians with the sheep, their sheepdogs, don't forget their sheepdogs, is that they're able to bond with their sheep. Okay. And that's just does amazing. So, and they can't bond with goats or chickens, just so you know. All right.
I can bond with the goat.
You can bond with the goats. Absolutely. And I can bond with the chickens at dinner. Okay.
Well, thank you so much, Monique and Lynette, for coming on and bringing on these beautiful boys, and for Julie for doing the pre-record with me so we can get a sneak peek at Cosmo.
Yep. And we're going to call it a day on that note, and we'll see everybody next week. Thank you, Melanie. Another good show from you, too. Bye, everybody. Oh, don't forget, this is a special exit video.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fear